Well, hey everyone, I'm Stuart, back with another video, Afterburner Part 2. In this video, we look at triac boards, the CRT tube, side safety mats, an audio upgrade, and the throttle cover. Let's go. Well, it finally happened. Today a friend came over keen to finally get a go on Afterburner, and I plugged it in and both motors just went to their limit, and then the breakers blew. So I've had a brief look, and what I did is I've first of all unplugged the input from the game PCBs that go to the motor triac board, and both motors still want to just run continually. That's after resetting the breakers, so that tells me that it's a problem with this triac board. So, which is no surprise, because from the previous video you would have seen the images of it. It was pretty ugly looking. So plus it also had like a bit of a modification over original, so I've got to try and work out why it's been modified and actually what's gone wrong with it now. Here we go. Well, the triac board's been playing up, and I pulled it out and I have given it to the guru to have a look at, the guy that helps me out with my game PCBs. Now at this stage it was found some bad triacs and resistors, so this is where we're at. All the resistors are done. Now these two triacs on this side are apparently okay, and we've got two new ones here on the left side. So at the moment we're thinking these chips are okay, but we're about to put this back in the machine and see how it runs. At the moment I know that these two triacs are underrated, but we're just going to do a test to see if the work so far is good, and either way, whether this thing smokes a couple of triacs straight away, we'll soon find out. But either way, it's going to get an upgrade. These are 16 amp and these are only 8, but I've actually got 40 amp ones coming, and they are quite a lot larger and are going to have to be modded a little bit to get onto this board. But yeah, let's try out this board now as it is and see what happens. All right, power on after triac board refitted in 3, 2, 1. Well, success. All right, well, it was short-lived. The machine went through its motions, and then I put it under test, and I had control of the cabinet for a little while with the both axis, chair moving, cabinet moving. Then I bumped up the I think it's called power, which will obviously give you more power to the motors. That's under test mode, and when I did that I started to move the cabinet around, and then both breakers blew, or both breakers popped, I should say, popped out, and I could smell something funny, and turns out 2 transistors have gone. So I kind of knew I might have an issue, because originally these are supposed to be 16 amp. I think there is no schematic, as far as I know, for this board. It has been re-engineered by a guy. You can read up all about that on UK VAC. A very clever man has re-engineered this and the other motor board that drives this. So, but for this board, what I'm doing now is, well, look, I believe that these boards were problematic from brand new, so maybe even the 16 amp was underrated. So the plan is to put these 40 amp, I suppose you could put 25, but these are 40, and I'm going to mod these on. Now, if we just have a look, this meter is in diode check, and actually if we have a look at this, it actually shows you how to check conductivity between T1 and T2. If you've got conductivity there, then basically the triac is damaged. That's about all the information for the triac board there actually is in the service book. So we can do that now, I think. If I just do, that's it there. So damaged. Probably should be done out of circuit, but I'll do that in a second. This side does not at this stage, but I'll be doing all 4 triacs. See, maybe this side is okay. Actually, the breaker for this side is the one that popped. So the plan is this triac can be So the plan is that this triac can be installed here, because if I drill new holes, we still end up on all 3 traces. And when I'm finished, I could probably have a bit more of a gap between pins as well, because I believe that was a bit of a problem because these are so close together. But it's not my problem at the moment because we checked all that. So next step, 4 new triacs modded onto the board, and I actually do have some 3 watt resistors to change these. I'm not sure I need to. These are 1 watt at the moment. I don't think it's an issue, but we'll see how it goes. If you go back to the original video, I'll show you another photo here of this board, the way it came out the machine, and of this board the way it was running the machine, but it was missing 1, 2, 3, 4 resistors. Now that basically meant these 2 triacs are not in operation. I'm not sure how it works. I don't have a full understanding of how this board actually works as an engineering point of view, but it's thought, and this is with some discussions with other people, is that maybe this the motors were only running at half speed before. So I must admit, last night when I tested this board, it did look like the motors were running faster now that these missing resistors have been added back in. So don't ask me why they were missing, but they were removed from circuit. So you wonder why. Was it on a location where they didn't want the motors moving as fast, and did someone actually know what they were doing, or did someone just steal the resistors from this board to fix something else at some point? It's really hard to know. So it's just an unknown, and we're not really sure what the outcome will be, but and I hope it's nothing to do with why it's just blown a triac so quickly. So I doubt it, but anyway, on with the triac repair. Well, third time lucky. I've just had this in the machine and it's working. So that last attempt actually blew this little transistor here. You can see it's split open. I actually blew the leg off and took out one resistor in the process, and luckily nothing happened back further because it's all working now. I put new screws on the feet because they were all rusty. So it's ready to go back in the machine. I took out the little, I don't know, what are these? These are those X2 caps. It must be some kind of filter. I don't really understand the reason for them being there, but I've removed all 4 of them because these seem to be notoriously bad. I've had a few of these explode across power supplies before, and I think they're in there doing the same kind of thing, and the fact that they're 30 odd years old, I've just removed them. So I'll certainly let you know if I notice some sort of interference or something in the game that changes because they're not there, but I doubt I'll notice anything. I do already have some interference on screen. When I move the stick, you can get some light static or something. It sort of picks up on the screen. I don't know what that is, but I don't think it's anything to do with these. Anyway, all right, back in the machine. We'll test the hell out of this machine now. We'll run it heaps, and hopefully these triacs hold up, and that's the end of it. So this is a really, really good tube just pulled out of a lowboy. Got both Naneo and Mitsubishi on it. Sometimes you see this symbol and it's very similar to that Matsushita brand, which you commonly find as well. But this is actually a Mitsubishi. Or Naneo, I don't know who made the tube, one or the other. So this tube is, or has a really, really good picture, even though there is a small amount of soot, so it has done some work, but it's not, obviously not much for what it is because it's still got a great picture. And a wee free voltage chassis, so that's about to go into Afterburner. I'll put it in now. Okay, so the new chassis actually just fits. It's pretty all tight and squeezy in there. So there's those few checks to do before powering up the tube and chassis, and obviously we can see their video, but more importantly the HV to the tube. That cap is properly secured on the back of the tube, and I always double check it, pull it a few times. Deflection, can we see that? Can't really see it. Deflection, connection, obviously power. What else? What am I missing? The tube ground to the neck board and neck board. So that's all good. And we've got my adjustments, but I think this will probably be pretty much set up, but I may have to move the deflection into a different position, reverse it or something, but I'll switch it on now and see if I need to reverse the picture or something. Well, I can see the picture's way better already. I've just got to make a couple of adjustments, and it's got a bit too much red and degauss. It might fix itself, or I might just fix that up with a magnet. A few adjustments to make. Okay, well here's my only modification to Afterburner. I did think that audio was a bit ordinary, so I've added in this Logitech woofer. Basically all this was done out of just stuff that I had, so I could have gone out and bought something specific to do this, but I used a piece of patio tube, which is actually just mitered ends picking up the caster wheel bolt threads, and then I put nuts on so that holds that in place, and then just a bit of angle screwed down, and then self tappers into the wooden box of the woofer, bracket on both ends, and it's pretty much plug and play, because this just picks up the audio out that was on these machines. So, and it definitely makes a difference having this, and I can actually adjust the level separately to the standard audio. I mean, this machine did come out with, there it goes, came out with 6 speakers, like 4 little 100mm, I guess they'd be like a mid-range thing, and then 2 little tweeters above your head in the cockpit. But like SEGA Rally has a woofer under the seat, I think this machine just benefits from it, and being able to do it without drilling holes everywhere, and just make it so it could be removed if you wanted to, and the machine's still all original. I think it's a good little upgrade. It definitely makes a difference when you're in the machine, and it is quite sturdy. It's not going anywhere. All the cables are clipped up down the side there. This it's like the other little speaker. Unfortunately, I had to include this with this unit. It works together. So I just tech screwed a large hose clamp down onto the tube, and that is holding that in place, and that's not going anywhere. Pressure on step, stops machine. Well, for a while anyway, before the rubber goes hard. Okay, side safety mats. Now, spoke about this briefly, I think, in the last video, part 1. So I haven't done anything with these yet. They are actually just disconnected from the game PCB. This one's actually still disconnected here. I just pulled these wires out so you could see they're actually not hooked up. This actually goes to the game PCB if it was hooked up. Now, as it is, these side safety mats, both sides, are a direct short at the moment, so I'm guessing it's supposed to be open, and you put a foot on here, child's, teenagers, or a big kid like me, put your foot here, and it stops the cabinet from moving. So I do want to have a look at it, at the very least, see if it's fixable. If it's not, well, I guess we just put new rubber down and abandon the idea of getting them working again. But it would be nice to get it working, and I can't see why it couldn't be. But when I look at this, it looks like sort of some sort of foil layer, and I'm guessing it's maybe one layer of foil or two layers of foil with some kind of in-between thingy. Put your foot there, makes a connection. Let's get it out and have a look. I actually still haven't put the screws in from when I had it apart last time, so this is just loose and ready to come out. So let's get it on the bench and start peeling away the layers. Alright, well this is the first safety mat apart. This is a job that I really wasn't looking forward to, and sure enough it has been a bit painful. So what we have here is this is the lower piece. It's a really thick, I'd almost call it plastic, but it feels a bit rubberized like a mud flap off a car. And then it's really just two layers of foil between this foam with holes in it. So a really simple sort of on-off switch, normally open. And your foot goes on it and makes the contact between the two foils for a closed circuit. Now, I did investigate some other options of some safety pads, either too expensive or some of the ones for car seats were actually working, it seems, off a resistance measurement rather than a on-off switch, we would call this. So that's not going to work, so it looks like I'm stuck rebuilding these. So I do have the rubber from the previous work on the machine. I've already got the top rubber. It looks like I'll be using new foil because all this foil's damaged. You can actually see the damage. It's just had too much use, and you can actually see the contact areas have gone dull, so that wouldn't work either. So I just separated some of this foil. It's like a layer of plastic with foil. So, and the foil kind of has the consistency or the thickness feel of the ultra thick foil you can buy for barbecuing. So I've already got a roll of that. So it looks like I'll be bonding a thin layer of plastic just to make this, well, I'm guessing the plastic gives it a bit more life. So I'll be remaking those in an attempt, and we'll call it an attempt because I don't know if it's going to work, but I'll have to re-rivet the wire attachment points to the foil and just see how it goes. Fingers crossed. We'll see what the outcome is. I'll do one. If it looks like it's going to work, then I'll do the other. Is it two? There'd be two more, a small one and a bigger one. So the only other thing to mention was how this is the top rubber. It's actually still soft on the outside, but has gone rock hard in the middle, so no flex there. So this new rubber is just slightly thinner than the original, and it's definitely nice and soft. So that'll probably add some sensitivity. I don't know why they had these foam strips on. I'll probably leave that out. I'll do a test and then see what the sensitivity is like, and hopefully it sort of feels right. So two more side safety mats. This little square one. Oh, by the way, I've just pulled the seat out. There's no way to get it otherwise. And this one-piece long mat. Sort of rock hard, but you can feel it flexes a little bit. The input to that mat and this mat, and then this is the connecting wire to the PCB. So how do I get it out? It's all sort of interconnected this plywood to the back and even maybe the side panels. So I think I'm just going to start by unpicking the nails and see if I can kind of separate these two while they're in the machine and get it back together. Try not to overcomplicate it. I don't want to pull the whole cabinet apart to do this, so I'll try that. Well, that's foil cut and stuck down to the laminate, clear contact or whatever you want to call it. Next step is I've got to separate all of these from the old ones and solder new wiring onto them as well. Then I have to carefully pierce holes through and peen them back over. So getting these off is not going to be easy because you see how they're attached. So I have to squish all these back. And then when they go back on, I've got to also see there's a bit of clear plastic here. I think I have to put a piece on like that because what it does is it helps secure, I wouldn't call it a rivet. There would have been a crimping tool. To install these, but I'm going to have to kind of do it by drilling and squishing or hammering. I'll figure out a way to get these over to here. the plan is to trim this rubber around the outside once the contact is dried, but I put the plywood on top with a bit of weight on it until it's dry. But I just wanted to demo here. The outcome looks alright for what I've done. So if I'm looking at the multimeter now, okay. I have no idea how long these will last. Probably as long as the original ones did, which is actually not that long apparently. Had a few comments on the original Afterburner video saying these mats were another thing that was troublesome with the machines. So they probably did just end up getting disconnected back in the day. I really don't know, but feel free to comment if you know more. Well, back down on my hands and knees again. Before I can put the new pads in, I've just got to give it a bit of a clean up in here because it's all full of sand and crap, and a bit of the plywood was pulled up removing them. Believe it or not, it was a layer of, it was actually double-sided tape, and it was so well bonded it sort of pulled up the plywood a little bit, which is a shame, but not a lot I could do about it. So I'll clean that up now, get these pads back in, and they're a little twist lock nail is how they're tacked in. I'll use a bit of double-sided tape again, run a strip down that back side there. The twist lock nails. So I've got to pre-drill I've got to do a bit of pre-drilling for the twist lock nails. Plug them back in and test it out. Well, that's safety mats in and connected up. So all fingers crossed, if I go into service and come down to input test, and it's this one, isn't it? See this mat off? Oh, actually, sorry. I'll come back to you because I have to plug this back in at the PCB now. All right, I'll be back in a sec. All right, so that brown and white wire's plugged back in at the PCB, little 2-wire or 2-pin plug. And so we'll back it out. And I don't know, can we see my foot come down now? and thought I'd better check this out before I put the seat in. Right side mat, and the little tiny mat, little tiny square mat. Well, I'll be buggered. Well, boy, am I happy those safety mats are done. I was really procrastinating over that one, but it's out the way now. Next, throttle cover. When I first looked at this, I had an idea of maybe using like automotive filler and automotive paint, you know, which would have been a lot of work. It probably just would have resulted in a crack again. Maybe not if done very well. But as you know, it's been a while since I started this Afterburner project, and this has been sitting for a while, and I've had a bit of time to think about it. In the meantime, I met a clever guy by the name of Zoe, who's actually mapped this all out now for 3D print, so I'm looking forward to seeing that. Check out this bit of footage here. Now this is actually fantastic work by Zoe. He's put a lot of time and effort into this, and I'm really pleased and grateful. Now, while I'm waiting for that, I've had a change of mind. So what I've learnt over the years is never run off with your first idea. Now that this was sitting around so long, I've now changed my mind what I want to do with it. What I'll do is actually just run a cut around this outside edge, make a new tin plate top, much like this repair, and I will rivet it all around the outside and try and make it look a bit aircrafty, and maybe make the colour on top to match. So I'll get on with that. So the only thing that's crucial is these two mounting holes and where they go, really. This slot here I'll actually be making larger than probably what it would have been original, so this piece fits on there. So I took my line to this hole that someone's drilled, so that'll be cut out. So really there's nothing left to do now but simply cut this out. Now it's also got this piece glued in here, which I don't actually know whether I can remove it or not. I'm hoping I can get that out. And also this is got some cracks on the back here, so I'm hoping that I can just keep that together. This is actually already separated here and this rivet's stuck in there, so I might just leave that rivet and put some glue behind it. And with it already having a hole here, that's probably going to affect the way I space the rivets out that I put in along that line. So Well, I'm going to mask it up and give it a coat of matte black, and that's throttle cover done. Well, we'll finish this one off with a bit of 3D print footage. No doubt this prototype may need a bit of tweaking. We'll see how it goes. Now let me tell you, this Afterburner project has been a real labour of love. It's been everything from a lot of fun to an absolute headache, and now a real sense of satisfaction to see it completely working and retaining a lot of originality. Well, for now we'll call this one done. If you like that, you know what to do, and I'll see you on the next one.